I've never met anyone who has been sexually abused, much less someone who has been ritually abused, who doesn't have an innate, pervasive sense of self-loathing or disdain for themselves. A lot of times this is because the perpetrator has said that the abuse was our fault or that we deserved it. One thing about self-hatred is that it stays underground often and begins to fester or grow. How do you begin to dismantle self-hatred? I use the word dismantle because getting rid of self-hatred is a real process. First, I need to learn to recognize the negative self-talk. Where there is physical or sexual abuse, there is usually verbal abuse as well. It often happens that we end up carrying around the specific sentences that our perpetrators told us. How do you recognize these negative thoughts and internal words? Well, it might help to sit down with a piece of paper and write down right off the top of your head, without much thinking, 10 things I remember my mother or father telling me. When I ask someone to do this, they usually instantly write down or say things like, "I hate you," and "You're a loser, nobody can ever love you." It doesn't really take much thought to remember those. The dumb thing is that we end up carrying around and saying these same statements to ourselves over and over again. Besides remembering what we were told by our perpetrators to uncover the negative self-talk, we can also ask the Good Shepherd to show us where self-hatred lives inside of us. It may be that not only do we as a core hate ourselves, but also the parts inside may be expressing hatred toward us because of what we were forced to do. We need also to reconnect with our physical body. But how do you do that? One of the ways is to start by touching your arm or hand and letting yourself sense the gentleness of your touch. I found this helpful for myself. I wouldn't realize that I had gotten a paper cut or whatever in the office until I saw little drops of something red on the paper. I really didn't feel anything below my chin. So what the Good Shepherd had me do was to make a big fuss whenever I realized that I had a paper cut or I had scratched my arm. I'd say out loud, "Oh, I'm so sorry I got hurt." I remember the first time I was so surprised by the reaction from the inside as they felt the gentleness of my touch. Another important thing to connect with your body is to learn to sense your need for things like rest, food, or comfort. For example, most of us don't sense pain the way others do who haven't experienced this level of trauma. I have some chronic physical issues, and one of the ways I have helped myself reconnect with all of me is the first thing in the morning when I wake up, before I get out of bed, I have a conversation with the Good Shepherd. And I tell him everything that is physically bothering me. Like today, there's a pain in my right knee and my neck is hurting. It helps me not only reconnect, but also bring it to the Good Shepherd. I can sense his comfort and understanding at my pains and struggles. Hopefully these two suggestions, learning to recognize negative self-talk and beginning to reconnect with our bodies, are helpful. I guess I'll say goodbye for now, and we will see you the next time.